You know the dudes that used to stand outside of the mall with their shirts off and just the jeans only and the flip-flops? Mm-hmm. That was your boy.
Oh. That's a big job. That's a big job.
I used to fold clothes for like 2 hours, and then once the dude that was outside had to go home, then I'd like, okay, you know.
You just stand outside and welcome to Hollister.
Yeah. That's literally all I did for maybe, I wasn't there long. I was there for maybe like a week because I was like, this fucking sucks. Really? Yeah. Wow. I was getting paid $10 an hour so people could ogle my body. Welcome back, everybody, to the 505 Media Podcast. I have my co-host, as always, Samuel.
What's up?
And then today's guest is Mr. Casey. He is our lead photographer for 505 Media Company, and he was a huge blessing to our company because literally he's better than all of us. So
Hardly.
No. You are. Don't lie. Take the compliment and really run with it because, I mean, in all honesty, I just learned how to use a flash this year. My entire creative career,
they're handy, aren't they?
I've never used one, you know, and I can honestly say yes, with that setup, with that kit, with that, it just gives a whole different dynamic to photos as well too. And you're just like the king of that. Sam, at one point he used one as well. And before you even came aboard, I was like, oh, yeah, these pictures are pretty good. But just the way you're able to manipulate that flash,
you really got that master lighting.
Oh, man. I try my best to...
Here, bring the mic a little closer to
you. Give the subject some definition with the flash.
Yeah.
It does bring a different dimension. You know, the main thing I find with, like, taking a lot of pictures and portraits and stuff like that, lighting is so important. Mm-hmm. And you all know as videographers how important light is because if you don't have it, it's...
I think Sam and I maybe come from the school of like just have your aperture super wide open, you know.
I hated doing that.
And have it as low as you can go, and you know, use whatever natural light is available to you.
I never shot in 60 frames per second like all day because it was just too dark with like my crappy little CMOS sensor sized cameras. Mm-hmm. Just couldn't do it. And that's how I kind of learned as well too. On APS-C size sensor cameras. Now, again, for the viewers or listeners who don't know what that is, like this is your full frame, and your CMOS sensor is like that big. So it's like 25% of the size.
It's like 25% of the size. So when you're shooting in low light situations, those typically aren't the greatest.
Right. Yeah, I'm bigger sensor, more light absorption.
Right. Exactly. And Casey, man, you just blow me away with some of these pictures that you take sometimes, like the ones of the Michael and Joanna, the wedding that we did the Hollywood premiere for. Mm-hmm. Those photos, when I was reviewing them, they look money, bro. Straight money. And even their engagement session that you did in Chicago for them as well too, straight money as well. So honestly, I want to tell the story of how we first met Casey, because as we were looking for an additional photographer, right? And literally we come out, I think the day before, we pulled an all-nighter or something like that, to where it's like, yo, this is what we're going to do this all night, edit. Because at the time, it was only 1, 2, 3. We had 4 editors, but it might as well have been only me, Sam, and Tabitha, you know. Right. The editor that we had at the time wasn't really producing the content like he should have. But either way... It was so funny because I was kind of over the day already, and I was kind of delirious at the same time and just kind of super tired. And that night, I just kind of laid on the floor. You ever just like lay on the floor?
Was that the night that I outlined your body in the tape?
Yeah. So have you ever just like laid on, like just been so comfortable, just like, I'm just going to lay on this floor right here?
All right.
Have you ever done that?
I have.
I'll have to find that picture and put it up right here.
We have that. It's somewhere in our feed. So if you do find it, just put it like right here. So, but anyways, and that stayed on the floor for like a couple days. So when we pulled off I think there was 2 things. One, I was so busy and so preoccupied with everything else that not that I forgot, but that I was like, oh my gosh, I have this guy showing up in like 10 minutes.
Oh my God, that's right.
And we peeled off the fucking tape, but there was still an outline, and it looked like a dead body outline.
Yeah, because that's how I did it around.
And I didn't even notice.
Okay, good.
I didn't notice that.
Good, because it was so embarrassing. And then on top of that,
hilarious.
I'm like, we're all fucking slobs. The only one who's actually dressed semi-appropriately is like Tabby or something like that. Crystal and I were in fucking pajamas because we've been working for like the past 2-3 days straight. You know, Sam was wearing...
I think it was like jeans and a sweatshirt or something.
No, it was...
Like a hoodie.
Were you? I don't know.
I was
like
definitely
90% sure.
But it
I
was very, very... And then Casey shows up in a suit and fucking tie.
Oh, yeah. He was so...
I was so
dressed up.
He was so... I couldn't find my goddamn hat. It was like so very like... my hair was all... I didn't get a chance to get a haircut, you know, and it's just very... It was very embarrassing. But like Casey was so smooth about it. He was like, no, I understand. You're a business owner, blah, blah, blah. You work, you know... And in some cases, I agree. Like, there's some old school mentalities that I wish I would just still follow. Like the looking the business owner type part is something that I want to learn. I want to get back to, but it's just, it takes too much time and it takes too much effort, you know? And for a guy like you're a guy that just dresses up and looks great all the time. Sam and I look like slobs every single day, you know? But
yeah, Tabby's got to get on me and be like, can you please wear something nice to church? I'm like, God says come as you are, and I'm But I break down. I wear some nice clothes every once in a while.
So it was very embarrassing, one, and two, it was very nice that you were nice to us, because I think any other person in that situation would have been like, what the fuck am I getting into? Who are these people? These people are so unprofessional. But it's not that we're unprofessional. It's just now, because I did the corporate thing for a long time, and I had to dress up, the suit, the tie, the shirt, the shoes, etc. And there was even a point in time in my life where I was kind of like all about that, you know. And once I got that taste of freedom of working my own schedule, not having to impress the boss or this, that, and the other, like I just like, okay, like it's just more efficient to be comfortable. Mm-hmm. Do you guys feel the same way or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know, if you look at other, even just larger corporations, they set their own standard of professionalism. Mm-hmm. You know, you go to Google, you're not going to find anybody in a shirt and tie and a suit. You're going to find them in maybe some slacks and nice, comfortable shirt, because they want their employees to be comfortable. They want them to be productive. They're more concerned about their productivity than how they look. You know, but if they're going to go on a show or something, of course they're going to put on some clothes.
Well, yeah.
But in their working environment.
What's the guy from Apple or whatever? What's his name?
It's a Cook.
Tim Cook, yes. So Tim Cook, he donned the jeans and black kind of, or the jeans and sweater thing. I don't want to say it's black, because he just kind of like reflects it. He's not like totally impersonating it. But even him, like he's on stage at an Apple event wearing fucking jeans and a sweater, you know, and that's. And he's an older guy, so I can assume that that's still his like thing, you know. But my thing for us here was, I just want us to be productive, be comfortable, because I cannot be comfortable. I cannot be productive when I'm not comfortable.
Yeah, that's harder.
Sam, you and Tabitha are here probably the most out of anybody. So, well, because you live right above the office, but
yeah, it's not like we live here.
No. But you also work the long day, because no one's work hours are like 9 to 5. Well, at least not yet. You know, I think once we get into the direction, and I've talked about this before with Crystal, Sam, everybody essentially. Like when we have a dedicated brick and mortar storefront, you know, or office, then maybe at that point, sure. But for the most part, it's all like come as you please and just make sure we get stuff done, right? But since you guys are here the most, Sam and Tabitha, and even some of the other editors, they're here for pretty decent hours as well too. Would a dress code bother you, or do you prefer to be comfortable, or what's your deal, or what's your take on that?
I mean, I feel like everyone here is pretty responsible with how they dress. Like, Do we need a dress code? No. Could you implement one that says like, hey, don't come to the office in like a wife beater and jorts? Then maybe. But I mean, like, no one's doing that. We're all coming here in comfortable
Do you own a pair of
clothes.
jorts?
That's a question for another podcast. But the point is, we're all pretty responsible, and we know we're dressing comfortable because we just want to be productive.
I think the only reason I would want to have some type of dress code, and at least not right now, is because eventually, I mean, you're gonna have clients stopping by, having consultations, all that kind of stuff, especially more of that corporate kind of world, and with a lot of boomers still in those executive and management positions, like you almost have to dress to impress. Like if they don't see you like at least in a button up to some extent, not necessarily like a white shirt or blue shirt or anything like that, but just like a nice button up or even a nice polo like that, I think they might get turned off from that. And Casey, do you have any experience with that?
In terms of people being turned off by...
But just the appearance overall.
Yeah. I've seen it, especially, in our industry where we're, doing weddings and things of that nature. Perception is everything. Sure. We could have the greatest work online.
100%.
We could push out the best things. If we look like trash, people are not that we do look like trash, but just saying, if we don't look the part and we don't look like what we're putting out there, then there are people who will just judge us based on our looks. If we look at what we buy, people buy the same iPhone every year with upgraded software, but if it looks like trash, we wouldn't buy it.
And 2 extra megapixels.
It's a look. It looks sleek. It's glass. It's this. It's that. And it does the same thing the last one did.
You're right. I think you're right on the perception part, because I think with people's perception of us, and I'm going to dive a little bit more into that because for the listeners, Casey is black. He is African American. Okay. And honestly, me personally, Casey, I haven't worked with too many black photographers, in this industry, and for the most part, I see a bunch of little white girls essentially with the fedora, with the fedora hats and stuff like that,
Right.
That's all I see.
Yeah.
I think I may have worked with a black photographer maybe one other time, but again, I could count more, 5'5" white girls than anything else.
It's very much a stereotype. Like there, and let me guess, in your mind is when you think of that photographer, you're thinking light and airy, or outside by trees,
or the orange brown tones as well too.
The sepia,
the sepia. I don't know how to say that, but anyway,
out by some bridge roads and
so that's exactly what the perception or what the stereotype is, and not that it's bad or anything. It's just that there's just every girl is like that, and for the most part, every photographer is 99.99% of the time is also a girl. This is a very female dominant industry.
It's about time we get some more males in there. It's equality.
It's very tough, especially like in the specifics of what we do with weddings. Like women ask for women because they're more comfortable with them. They have more access to the bride. They can see or be around things more than men. And that's, I guess, why it's a lot more women dominated, especially in the wedding atmosphere.
I think when you have an industry that's mostly women, I think men have some type of feeling of how hard it is to try to break into that kind of space as well too. We kind of get a little bit of a taste of our own medicine at that point, It's kind of like role reversals at that point,
Yeah, just like nursing, childcare, like
most of those jobs are women oriented as well too. Like I know some male nurses as well too, but I know more female nurses than I do male nurses.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
But even then, though, it's not taking anything away from it. It's just the stereotype. Like, I just wish they would be more different. I wish there would be more individuality instead of these cookie cutter, photographers, essentially. And I think That's what we're able to offer at 505 is just that we don't offer that. We can give you that cookie cutter experience.
But we're so flexible.
But we're so flexible. And I think everyone has their strengths as well, too. We were just talking to a girl the other day, a bride the other day, where we were like, okay, well, who's going to edit your photos? And I was like, it just depends on what style you want, you know? If you want that magazine look, Casey's your guy. If you want that light and airy look, Lawrence is your guy. If you want something with like just natural colors, then Sam's probably your guy. Or if all of those guys
shop out your ex,
or if you need or if you need some Photoshop done, then Sam's your guy as well too. Because I don't know really much about Photoshop, just like absolute basics, but nothing to what Sam could do. Like he makes our thumbnails, and I love our thumbnail. But and then me personally, like if you guys are all busy, then I'm the utility. Like I can do all of those styles, but that's if you guys are like slammed and can't. You know, we just need that extra person, you know? So there's a bunch of different varieties. And I kind of say that we shoot ourselves in the foot sometimes with that because we don't have one particular style, you know? But I think it gives the girls, the brides, a little bit more flexibility as far as what they can get at the end of the day, right? Am I wrong on this? Or
No, I don't think you're wrong at all. Variety is wonderful when you can offer a client a tailored experience, and I think that's that's a big problem in the photography world is that people are just one thing. Most people are just one style of photography.
Sure. Yeah, like and only engagements.
I've actually seen this girl. There's this girl that I'm gonna try to have her on the podcast, but she's a little bit busier than most. I think as far as like Facebook followers and stuff like that, she's like really close to us or even more above us at that point. There's not too many people that beat us out as far as how big or popular we are in the area. But there's this one girl in particular. I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but she will literally, it doesn't matter what style you want. You're booking her because you're getting her style, and that's it.
Right.
No other style. And I didn't realize people actually did that.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty huge in the wedding industry. If you're booking somebody for something specific, in what you're looking for, they will even outline it in their contracts. Like, this is what you're getting. You're picking me because of X, Y, and Z, and this is the style you will get. So don't look for anything else.
No,
this is what you're going to get.
It's almost kind of, it's mind-blowing a little bit because like, oh, wow, maybe I'm mind-blown because we just offer so much, and it just kind of, you know, it takes that value away, I think, when you don't offer more. But that's her thing. If they're buying her just for her, then if they're paying for her service for that particular thing, it just kind of, it's weird. Doesn't it feel weird?
It's limiting.
It sounds limiting.
It's limiting, but on the flip side of that, you're also getting people that are like, "Oh my God, I love your style. Please shoot for me."
That is true.
So you're getting more of those clients.
I think. Have you ever? You guys have Instagram, I'm assuming, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I didn't follow these people, but there's this one girl on because at the time I wasn't handling that part of the social media, but there's this one girl that we were following, and literally, and let me know if you heard of this yet, Casey. The trend now is blurry photos.
Yeah, you had told we were talking about that.
Well, I think we talked about it during like a dinner or something like that when we were at a wedding. But legitimately, right here, not bokeh, just not background blur,
out of focus
photos.
Like how much? Like a lot out of focus, or like just a pinch?
No, out of focus, bro.
Okay.
Not like to the point where you can't recognize it, but not also to the. It's not like super to the extreme, but not over like, oh, I just slightly missed. No, like it was intentionally out of focus.
Huh?
Is that odd? Is that odd? Alex? What do you think? Is that odd? Have you seen that?
That I've not.
We can use a bunch of Sebastian's old photos now.
True. Well, that is true. I mean, his photos were a little soft, but he was also learning too. So, like, I literally tried to teach him everything that I know. And even then, I think a big limiting factor with him too is that he was this is the photographer that I had before. The problem with Sebastian's photos is that he didn't know how to use his aperture to make sure stuff was in focus. Or he would focus on the nose instead of the eye. Or because you're a photographer, you're trained to literally focus on the eye. That's where you want to catch the main focus, right? Not the nose, not the hands, not the belly, not the shoulders or the hair. And his issue was he just didn't know his gear. He didn't know how to control the camera in order to send the focus to that particular area. And he didn't understand that when you're shooting at f1.2, that your margin of error is super, super thin.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, his photos, they helped us get to where we're at. But I would say for Sebastian, had I not shown him everything that I know and was guiding him and teaching him, it probably wouldn't have gotten that far anyways. He was so out of practice. He was using and I try never to shit on people, Casey, about their gear and stuff like that. But at the level that people want to be sometimes, you have to eventually invest in yourself. You have to buy the new camera. You have to, don't buy the Louis Vuitton wallet.
Right.
Buy a camera or get a lens or something like that. Once you get your camera, then you start charging more for your stuff. Then you could buy the Louis Vuitton wallet.
Right.
But it was priorities essentially with him, and when you believe that you are better than you actually are, because that was the other big argument with Sebastian and I as well too. Is like Sebastian, because he eventually he wanted some ridiculous amount of money for me to keep employing him, And the only reason I considered it is because of our friendship and how we started the company, or how I started the company with him, everything like that, right? We've just been through a lot already. And for Sebastian, it was like, Sebastian, do you honestly think you deserve that? If I paid you more, are you going to perform better? Or are you going to give me more of the same? And he's like, I don't know. It's just, that's what it was. It was like, well, you have to do better. Because I can tell, obviously your photos aren't as sharp or as clear or as, good as mine. So until you become better than me, then no, I'm not going to do that extra, And it was towards the end of us falling out as well too. Have you ever had a falling out, Casey?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's a good story?
Oh. Let's see. My first photography job, I worked at a mall studio, actually.
A mall studio?
It was a mall studio in Florida. I was 18 years old. I was still a senior in high school, about to graduate, and I was working for two older ladies who had this store for a couple of years. They had props galore. I've never seen that many props. The mother would just shop everywhere, and she would have all these props, and she would take pictures. And so they needed a photo editor. They didn't really need so much a photographer. It was nice to have one in the shop, but they really were hiring for a photo editor. So I applied. They liked my work, and I started working there. Falling out happened right around the time that I started to notice some things about how the company was being ran.
Oh.
And after a while of being with somebody, you can kind of see things are like, oh, that's cool. And it's like, oh, no. Oh. One of the things were we were price gouging people.
Oof. Okay.
To a ridiculous level. For instance, they were charging a $99 sitting fee. Just
to sit down?
So
they pull out a chair and
in a studio, sitting fees are typically I booked an appointment with you.
Oh.
And so you would pay $99 to just book an appointment with us. We would take your photos, but that's all. So you would have to buy photos after that. So for $99, you essentially got to be in front of a camera. That's it. And so I was like, yeah, that's a little odd. And then started the price gouging on top of that.
But people paid that, though.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't understand.
Well, okay,
People
so
just didn't do the research, or was like, oh, let's go get photos.
I guess that's how much it
Actually,
is.
that second part is so it's interesting. So the studio was right outside one of those indoor playgrounds. So the kids were always around. So the parents would be like, "Oh, let's go take pictures." So of course now the kids are messy. They got pizza all over them. It's like, come on, little Jimmy, let's take a picture. So they go in there. They're all running around. Their photos look horrible, of course, because they've been wound up by Candy and Aunt Annie's, which was also right next door. And so the parents would be like, "Oh, maybe I just wanted to get a couple wallets for the grandparents, whatever." They're like, "Okay, cool. The wallets are $50." It was like, no, I was thinking more like 10 or 15, or like, no, $50. Like, and the prices were just like outrageous. For an 8x10 was like $75.
What? An 8x10?
One 8x10.
Wow.
Not even framed?
Dude.
Just a photo in a
Just the photo in an envelope. $75. And God forbid you wanted a larger size, because you're paying out the behind.
Oh my God.
But behind the scenes, what made me upset was how much we were paying for the prints. They would take these photos, we'd put them on a flash drive, they'd go run to Sam's Club and print them out for 20 cents a piece.
And then they would charge like
$70, $75 for an 8x10. It cost us $1 and change at Sam's. And so,
and when I was starting 505, and it was mainly photography to some extent, like I thought about that, like as far as like, okay, so do we offer prints? Can we offer prints? And
I offered prints for a while, but it was too annoying.
yeah.
and I think that was my conclusion. Is just like, I don't want to deal with this.
a lot of work.
Pixie Set though. Pixie Set was a good resource.
Pixie Set for us, like here's our problem though. The problem is that even though technically it's in your photographer's contract to where you can get a paid a commission on that, no one buys them.
No.
And
They don't want them. It's for Instagram.
Exactly.
That's it. Instagram and Facebook. That's
there are a couple items on there, like a canvas or some bullshit like that.
Right. A mug, a pillow.
But the problem is when you have all these other sources like Vistaprint, like what's the other one?
Walgreens.
Walgreens,
Sam's Club,
CVS.
Costco. Exactly. And you could get all that shit there too. And they're like super duper cheap. So on the off chance someone loves us so much, and they love you so much, Casey, and they do shop,
right,
then great. That's awesome. But it also takes a little bit of a salesmanship as well too. Like once you're done with their saying, hey, make sure you when you're shopping for prints and stuff like that, you and it almost sounds bad to do it, but you gotta plug it. This is what I told Crystal, and maybe she doesn't feel that we should do this, but I think if you actually want to take advantage of that, I think you almost have to. It's like, hey, if you go to Pixie Set and when you download your photos, if you shop on Pixie Set, it helps me out as well too. I think being transparent is different than being annoying or being like, well, make sure you do that. Don't go to Costco. Don't do anything else.
And it's funny that you mentioned that, because Caroline and I just got our maternity photos done.
Oh, okay.
And so we were shopping around.
You had a friend do them?
No, I didn't. I actually.
Never mind. I remember you talking to me about
this.
No,
yeah. So I wanted I really wanted it to be like a luxury style maternity. I wanted to have the customer experience and not so much like either the friend experience or you know what I'm saying? Because you don't get that same like I wanted to just have that experience, because I'm always giving it. You're always giving it as we don't get what we put out.
No,
we don't get good pictures of ourselves. We don't get good video of ourselves. So I was like, this is the one time. This is my first child. I really have to do this. So we went searching. So we found a photographer in Milwaukee. That was the first one.
What?
Yeah.
All the way in 2.5 hours away.
Dude.
Good photographers are hard to find.
They are, especially because we wanted to find one that specialized in maternity. So we wanted to find someone who had the gowns and all that, because once you start adding all that stuff up, it's a lot of money. Yeah. Like one gown is like $200.
No, I've seen these maternities. There's a girl out here. Her name is I think her name is Nina Garza. Shout out Nina Garza. Maybe we'll have her on the way. She's like one of the biggest photographers out here in Northwest Indiana, and she has her own studio, everything, blah blah blah, and she literally has backdrops galore. Specializes in kids, maternity, little ones, you know,
Right.
family portraits. She does.
That's the kind of people
you
you
know.
want to go to when you're looking for like a specialized. So I went searching for this one lady. She's in Milwaukee, and so I went on her price sheet, and I knew her pictures were expensive, but I didn't know how much expensive. So she also has a sitting fee.
Oh God!
Her sitting fee is $850.
Stop
What?
it! Oh my God!
$150. What it comes with is a 1 hour session.
Champagne or something? For you?
No, dude, no, not even.
Not even a
So-
little liquor
so you
for you to get you like easy to
Some
spend
of
the
that
$800.
peanut
No.
no ear.
Nope. So you get a 1 hour to 2 hour session, depending on what you want to do. You get to access it up to 4 of her wardrobe.
Okay.
This is just an $850 package. You just get four
items.
outfits that you
outfits,
can
yeah.
wear. And you get a $400 print credit. Now that's where it gets tricky.
Sure.
Because I was like, okay, for $850, $400 print credit, prints aren't that a lot, that much money. So I can
Sure.
I can make out like a bandit.
Plot
Nope.
twist.
Dude. So first problem is the print credit. You could only choose from one of two things, either $25 or $75. Now, the $25 was for a Instagram size photo
4x4 or something, or 1-to-1. Yeah.
with her logo on it, and not in the corner, on
On it.
top. So, but if you wanted the print release, it was $75 per photo.
Jesus.
And it was not included in the print credit. The print credit were only for prints.
Yeah. Like what you put in the shopping cart, and that's it.
And those prints started at $150.
I can see that.
Dang.
That's crazy.
So
Like
I
those,
could walk out with like 2 photos,
And-
2.25 photos.
Damn.
I wish, here, we could probably, the way we built our business here, the way we built this company, guys, is on affordability, you know? And I think it's too late for us to go for that high end. I don't want to say, okay,
wouldn't say
maybe not too late, but I think it'd be out of left field for us.
I still believe, and
I
we've
mean,
had
if you
this
crack stuff up
conversation.
to like $8,000, I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
a little
I mean, there's much more that we can offer than what we are currently offering to get to that luxury status.
Sure.
Of providing care, and a lot of that luxury isn't just in the footage we provide. It's really the service.
Okay.
Because like this
We do
lady
work pretty hard.
Yeah, we the kind of service that this lady was providing for $850, that's why people were going to her, because her images were just like that.
So what would
insane.
you recommend for like our video package? What would you say? Like obviously 4K would have to be one of those
yeah.
things, as far as luxury goes.
4K for sure. I think that even levels up probably another $2,000 with just switching formats.
I would say so as well, because even the Hollywood premiere package that we just did for the video, like Tabitha was giving me all kinds of shit about it, because it includes
lot.
two videos. But we didn't really think about this at first, to where like, okay, now she has to go through both pieces of cameras, footage, and stuff like that. Granted, though, when you have a lead and a second shooter, one of them is obviously going to have a lot less footage. But just sifting through it, I understand that it's going to take an additional amount of time.
Right.
But I've even seen in some cases where, I've edited some of Sam photos, or Sam and I were second. I was lead, he was second, or something like that. I didn't use his at all. Customer didn't even know. But again, it's just because
they get that raw footage.
Yeah, but they get the raw
Yeah.
footage.
Right.
So
So
in
that's stuff that they can just sift through.
So we decided for the Hollywood premieres, like it's only fair, and it was a very quick yes, because it wasn't like, well, let me think about it, let me run the numbers. No, it was like it's fair. I think the full features are what, $175 right now or some shit like that to produce.
Yeah.
And
Which are like consistently being an hour or more.
correct.
We're just putting everything in them.
But the thing is,
huge videos.
they're so much easier to produce too, though, because the most difficult video, in my opinion, I think it is the highlight, because you have to pick the song, you have to arrange it in a way that it looks good. You can't just slap a bunch of footage and highlight and call it a day. You have to make it
Yeah,
look
it's gotta
good.
get in there with intent.
Exactly. The full feature, you're just Okay, next. Make it look semi-good, you know?
Transition.
Right. I think
So
when
we
you're
did increase. What I was going to say is we just to finish that thought. We
Yeah.
increased the payout for the Hollywood premiere full feature
Right.
because it has a lot more. Has a lot more stuff in there. So
And I think that's very fair. I think, if you're talking about moving to having a luxury package, you're talking about doing things like behind the scenes. You're doing things like
the day before. I don't know.
not so much the day before, but behind the scenes more so. Kind of that close up documentary style. So I've seen a lot of photographers do interviews with the bride and groom and have separate reading the letter and.
But we do that now, though.
We do, but it's done in a different way. It's done a documentary style.
It's done more run and gun. The way we do it is done more run and gun. The production value isn't like astronomical, you know.
So here's the difference between luxury and what we do.
Sure.
What we do, aside from it being run and gun, it is we are fitting and tailoring our services to the day and to how the bride is setting it up.
Yeah.
When you have a luxury package, the bride is tailoring her day towards how we provide service. That's the difference, because when they do it that way, it gives us more room to provide better service for the day. It's not like the wedding's about us, but it's more of a production.
I think,
you got more control over it.
Right.
That's
And in
the main
that
problem
case-
with big weddings,
and
just
in-
lack of control.
lack of control. Exactly what he said. Because that's the problem that I keep having every single time we go out. It's just we just do not have control of what is going on.
Right.
Or at least enough of it to be like, hey, stop. Or
Right.
hey, we got to keep going. Or hey, this, that, and the other. And I don't have the manpower to give a luxury production just yet, because when we do a luxury production, you're going to get two shooters either way. Obviously, you're pretty much going to get whatever the Hollywood premiere has. So day of coordinator, you'll have probably not even a coordinator. What I would say is I would have a personal assistant for the day, just for, do you want me to wipe the sweat off you? Okay, great. Wipe the sweat off.
Right.
A personal
You need a
assistant.
crew.
A crew, essentially.
Yeah. A whole
I
crew.
need someone. I need a grip to set up lighting. I need an audio engineer as well too, to make sure that our audio is on point and nothing is wrong. I need cinematographers or cinematographers basically just on their cameras all the time.
Right.
And then I need photographers like yourself that are of that caliber, to where we're not missing shots either, you know.
A whole luxury package is really just tailoring the day to document the day.
Yeah.
It's really more so about capturing these memories, and that's what's most important. And these brides want that, but they also want to do all these other little things, which causes kind of this traffic jam.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then it causes us to run around like, oh, we're going to do this now. Like, for instance, the other day when we did that wedding for I don't want to call names, but that other wedding that we did with the cultural
Yeah.
So, it caused a little bit of a backup because the family wanted to do a lot more than what was printed.
Yeah.
They wanted all the family to be taken, and they wanted each family to have
Your own
pictures
portrait. Yeah.
Oh,
with the
singles?
bride and
Oh,
groom. So,
geez.
like, each couple that was
So
there.
it was literally like probably an extra maybe 20 to 30 photos that we took, maybe more. I think I would just
took
double
another
it.
hour.
Yeah, another hour.
Ooh,
I
it
would
took
double. I would have doubled it at that point. So-
It doubled it because that time we set aside for it was
Sure.
about 30 to 45 minutes.
And
It took another
and you're not
hour on top.
and you
of
can't be an ass and be like, yeah, this isn't on the list, so I'm not gonna do that.
that. Right. This is their day.
Exactly. Like they're kind of, and in a way, and no offense to any brides out there, but in a way, they finesse that.
Right.
They finesse it, and they know that someone's gonna, or mom or auntie or whoever is gonna ask for more photos, and you can't say no.
Right. Unless you have a situation like one wedding I did last year, a client had booked me for her wedding, and she had this her wedding coordinator did not play any games. And when I say that, I mean
games.
to the point where at the reception, a guy who knew the bride and groom wanted to say something. They didn't open the floor, but he went to the DJ, and the DJ was like, I'd let you say something, but if the coordinator says, he looked at her and she was just like,
Nope.
And
She was
he
messing
couldn't
around.
say anything. The bride and groom even were like, "Oh, let him talk." The coordinator was like, "Nope." They hired her to do a job and to keep the day on schedule.
Yeah.
So she offered them a luxury experience, and that's what they got. And
Yeah.
she put her foot down.
I
'cause
think
that's what they paid
I
her
think
for.
our coordinators do a pretty good job. I think as far as like keeping the girls on track, I think they I don't think I've actually been to one of our weddings where we had a coordinator where we were falling behind. You know,
Yeah,
I
everything
think
was pretty smooth.
I think everything is typically pretty smooth, and that's why I said this on the last podcast. I think with Amanda on here because she's the head of coordinating.
Right.
It's like when we have our venue, you will absolutely must use our coordinating services
Right.
because it makes the day so much easier.
Yeah.
It makes the day so much better for your content creators, and it makes the day so much better for them as well because then they don't have to worry about anything.
Right.
They don't. And that's half the battle sometimes is worrying about, oh my gosh, did my grandparents get here? I don't know, you know. Like,
Oh yeah.
Or
get a lot of that.
or the DJ played the wrong song. I was like, well, you know what?
Ooh, that
That happens.
the horror.
No, it
The
happens.
Horror. It does happen. I had a bride have a meltdown. She was coming down the aisle. The DJ was playing music, and I'm ready to take pictures, and ain't nobody was coming. I was like, "What's going on? Where's the bride? What's happening?" So the song played out for a good 4 minutes, and then he cut the song, and we were trying to figure it out. She wouldn't come out. There was no
song?
music. She came out. There's tears flowing. I thought she was
I
happy or whatever.
I
but-
forget. I forget how sometimes trivial those things are
Yeah.
because I'm not using your original audio.
Right.
I dubbed the song over it. So
Yeah.
even if and I don't know, maybe she just didn't have enough communicators or stuff like that. People communicating with her, like, no, you got to just go. They'll fix it in post.
Right, oh, she was mad, and I talked to her afterwards. I was like, "What happened? Did you get nervous or what?" She's like, "No, they played the wrong song." I was like, "Oh God."
So you recently worked with young Alex here, and we were kind of talking how, he was actually saying that to work with you was so easy. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that, Alex, since you're actually here? Like your just overall experience with working with Casey, because I think that's generally everybody's same kind of reaction. So go ahead.
Trying to remember the day, but I just know the 2 times I've worked with you. He kind of knows how to guide and how to flow with the, I guess, lack of better terms, clients. I don't know how you would want to. But his flows so well, and sometimes even he'll be like, "Hey, you should go try to do something over there," and I'll be like, "All right." I remember that. I don't remember what it's called, but you told me to kind of follow behind. It was
So the thing you couldn't figure out, that name, that the for the Spanish wedding that we did.
Oh yeah, what's it called?
I don't remember the name of it, but what it is it's the bride and the groom are holding hands above the and then the
they follow through it.
They follow through like a giant snake. That's what that was.
Oh
yeah.
Okay.
So I had him follow. So he and I didn't know what was going on. It wasn't until they made the bridge I was like, oh, it's about to get turned up. So I was like, all right, just follow him, just because I couldn't move because I'm just taking stills, but because he has video, it's he needs to be the one to kind of go through and follow the.
That wedding looked pretty legit too.
Yeah.
Did I see paper falling or confetti or
Yes. During the
during their first dance or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was
that was
intense.
really cool.
It was.
Here I'm not gonna call out names either, but honestly, I didn't think anyone was gonna show up. Everybody just showed up late, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal
more
was.
people kept coming after you left.
Yeah.
More people kept coming.
It was. I think
it was that break. They had a break between the ceremony and the reception.
Sure.
And a lot of people went home. From what I was gathering from the chatter from the family, people were going back to the hotel and taking naps.
They woke up late from their nap.
They didn't come back. They didn't come back.
So, would you concur, Sam? Because I think you've worked with Casey on a couple projects as well too. You know? And I'm not trying to
Oh no, you're good,
I'm
man.
just cause
Man, let me tell you something about Casey, man.
Gotta take a drink on that.
As soon as we show up, man, he always wants to like talk, converse, and,
my
like
God.
hang out, and he's like so friendly, like can't stand it.
Oh man.
But no, seriously, yeah, Casey's really good to work with. He knows his stuff, and
It's just so easy when you have a photographer there that knows what the fuck they're doing.
It's easy
you know?
when like everyone's professional.
Oh man.
Like that's the
listen,
biggest
my honor to
help.
work with
The
you guys,
the
really.
only reason we say that, Casey, is because we've obviously had a ton of bad
We've
experiences.
had a lot of
I can
unprofessional
imagine.
people.
I can imagine. I really can, because I've worked with other vendors.
I try to forget.
I try to forget.
See, one of the things that separates 505, for those who don't know, we're a team of people that work together consistently. There are other entities in the area that what they'll do is they will just say, hey, that person's your photographer, and that person's your second photographer, and that person's your videographer, and that's your second videographer, and none of these people have ever talked before your wedding.
Yeah.
They just come together, and we have to coordinate it based on what we know from the client. And sometimes it doesn't work. I've had horrible experiences. I had one wedding where my second photographer took over the entire wedding.
Isn't that crazy?
That's insane.
It's insane. Like and my for video especially, because we're a one-man band, and that's how we're able to keep the pricing somewhat low, because most videographer teams or companies or whatever, they have at minimum 3 people going out, one for lights, second camera, and then first camera, right? And if they don't book a second camera with us or a second shooter with us, then if they separate, there's nothing we can do at that
Yeah,
point.
we can't shoot 2 places at one time.
You know, we typically stay with the bride, which is obviously probably the more important one. But, but even then, it's super hard, and it happens to Sam a lot more often, actually.
Oh yeah, unless I put my foot down and just be like, hey guys, this is fine, but just so you know, I'm gonna be with the bride. This is all the footage you're gonna get.
Yeah.
So it's like, you can put me wherever you want, but that's the only footage I'm going to get, because I'm not going to be able to run back and forth and get stuff.
And I think people need to really be cognizant about that when you're looking
Yeah.
at your budget. One thing I regret from my wedding, I didn't have much control over it, but had I had more control over the finances, I would have taken away the 2 limos that we had. Because I was prepared to drive. My dad was like, no, you can't have a wedding without limos. I was like, we can. And we should, because we should pay for a videographer, and now they're salty about it because we got a crappy photographer, and not only that, there are like 3 photos of us together for the wedding.
Ooh.
All the other pictures are with the bridal party is like partying and they're having fun, and I'm looking at the photos like, where are we? Like, where's us? We it's our wedding, like. So I definitely encourage all brides. Y'all see our packages.
Yeah.
Get a Hollywood premiere. Just go on and do it.
And we talked a little bit about this, even though like I encourage people to buy, whatever they want to buy.
Right.
But we kind of almost have we should have a limit as far as that. Like, and this is us just being nice people. I'm like, hey, your people, you only have 75 people at your wedding total, including you two. You probably don't need a Hollywood premiere.
Agreed.
If you want to spend the money go for it. We'll be there and we'll do it, but
It's overkill.
Exactly. I would say between 75 and 150 people, I don't think you really need a Hollywood premiere.
Agreed.
I think once you cross that 200 plus, 300 guest range at that point, then you kind of need, because then those venues are big.
Yeah.
You need a Hollywood premiere
Or there's
plus.
small venues that just get packed.
Like the one that we did in way up there fucking Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
That was a very big venue.
That needed a Hollywood premiere for sure.
But we did have a second shooter though.
Right.
But I wish we would have had a second videographer.
Yeah.
So, and honestly,
because there was a lot of moving parts, and because it was extremely cold, there was, and there were parts of the wedding that they wanted, in terms of like, they wanted to do a limo ride around and stuff like that. And so we had to
party
divide
bus it?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
so I didn't have a second shooter. Technically, yes, I was there, but Alex was there too. But we were training. Like they only paid for one, so
Right.
I can't do that extra
Right.
now.
Right.
There's no way I can do that.
Right. And that was actually, we had to kind of fudge it because they wanted to, I don't know how, but they wanted to go to a park it was like 5 degrees outside, but the plan was to go to a park and take pictures.
But the park was also covered in snow as well too. So like
snow and mud,
and it was just gross all over.
Stop having weddings in the winter months.
No, I don't. Listen, I don't mind winter month weddings.
Right.
But your
I
venue
do. They're
has
too
to be
cold.
like, hey, can you clean off the fucking snow off the patio?
Yeah. It
You
has
know?
to be heated properly.
Not even just heated, just clean off your snow.
Oh, no, it has to be
And the
heated.
one thing I definitely ask my brides are like, do you have a contingency plan? And 9 times out of 10, they tell me no.
Oh, yeah, there's no backup.
You
no
know, brides that have their wedding in spring.
It rains.
All right, we're outside. Do you have a contingency plan? No, we're just going to hope for the best. Stop hoping for the best. The best doesn't happen. It doesn't. I'm sorry. And you're going to cry and you're going to be upset that your wedding day is ruined. Please don't do this. Little 505 party. And I think that's one of the reasons why, plug for 505, why we work.
Always plug for 505.
Yeah, it's just we have a team that understands the assignment.
Yes.
Yeah.
We just do. We just understand how the dynamics of each of our positions work, and we give each other room to not only be creative, but we also give room for the bride and groom to have an experience. One of the things I saw that I really loved, Robert, about what you did, one of the weddings we did, that same cultural wedding that we did, was after we did all of the when we were doing the first look and we did all the mechanics to get the bride where we need to get her to take the shot, and the video Alex was doing.
Yeah.
You turned around and looked at them and was like, all right, have your moment. And we
I do that
away.
all the time.
It is I wanted to hug you. I'm gonna tell you why. Like, dude, I literally want to grab you. Like, thank you. I had that same photographer I told you that took over one of my weddings. Mm-hmm. It was at that moment where I was like pissed off at her, because while they were having their moment, like I was back, I was taking the picture just so that they could have their moment. She was up to them. Okay, I need you to kiss. I need you to turn around. I need you to do this. I need you to do that. And I was like, yo,
way to
leave them
kill
alone.
them.
Thank you.
They're just killing the vibe.
They hadn't seen each other for 2 days.
We're all about vibes here.
Yeah, we understand, like, a lot of the photos that we get that, like, are on the day of that seem like they're staged are
They're not.
candid.
Yeah, they're super duper
Because
candid.
it's those moments like, hey, take your moment. And that's where, like, the real art comes out.
When I direct a day, and I think I've fallen more into the role of a director. I think that's maybe my calling. I don't know. But when I direct a day, I do things intentionally so that way they have that natural reaction. Or when I'm talking to someone, in an interview, I say things that would get their mind to think that a specific answer that I want. So that way it comes out natural. So that way they're not thinking about it too hard, Like I'll ask a very specific interview question, or I'll do a particular move, for a couple and a group, or for a bride and groom, so that way they can have that natural, candid moment. Even though technically speaking, it was kind of sort of staged, but it was all them that did it. Does that make sense? Yeah. I don't know, but I do that. I try to do that a lot. We get our shots. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, we don't need 100 shots of them like just standing right there and trying to enjoy each other's company. You know, let's let them have their moment.
Because it's still a wedding. Even though we're a production company and we're providing that service, it's still a wedding, and you want to still have that wedding feel.
Yeah, it's
and
not just another page in your portfolio.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just, I was so grateful to see that happening for them, because they were stressed out.
Yeah. She was a little stressed out. Yeah.
All of them were like all stressed out. And it's amazing to have people, like-minded people. Yeah.
It's just consideration. That's all it is. It's all it is, because I think one of the reasons why I started the company, another one of the reasons why I started this company, is because I just had a shitty photographer and a shitty videographer when I was getting married. Like I was dabbling. I wouldn't say I was where I'm at now, but I was dabbling in photo. I would like to say yes, I was a amateur photographer, but I've done a couple weddings at that point, so I knew what I was looking for, right? And videography, I was dabbling in videography. So like that was just my experience, and I didn't like my experience at that particular point in time. I thought there were so many missed opportunities, and there were so many this that there's just a lot more that I thought was going to be done. I didn't really care for the ceremony. The ceremony is going to be the ceremony. I just thought it was going to be done a certain way. In my personal opinion, I thought that it was going to be more of that cinematic style, which it wasn't. And that's kind of what bummed me out a little bit, is because at that point in time, I was into the Peter McKinnons, the Matty Hapoyas, all that kind of stuff. So I was, we got a deal on it, but, I just kind of assumed that's the way everybody does it. And that's not, like, I don't know. It seemed like he recorded in 60 frames, but he also rendered it out in 60 frames. So it looked like a soap opera, not necessarily like a cinematic video or a film or whatever, And that's why it's super important to me that when I train, Alex, when I train Aiden, when I train whoever, Tabitha, that, hey, this is how we do it, because this is the way people like it done. This is because this is honestly separate. I know a couple of videographers right now that do decent work. But I honestly kind of wish that they were more available, because I would bring them on a heartbeat. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I would want to, like, everything that you fucking learned before, forget it. Watch these videos, learn how to do this, learn how to do that, It kind of blows my mind. And it's nice. I just like giving people their moment. Like, I know when I'm not wanted there. I can understand that you're killing the vibe, all that kind of shit. And I've only done that one time, but it was because we were already trapped inside of a room together. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it was very weird, because they're like, all right, we're going to go take some pictures in the bridal suite, because it was a nice bridal suite. And they're just like making out. Like, oh, that's kind of gross. I don't want to be in here right now. So, but anyways, you're going to be a dad.
Yes.
Yeah.
First one, right?
First one. Yeah.
Are you excited?
I am super excited.
I'd be honestly, at this point, if Crystal and I were gonna have a child, I'd be pretty nervous, considering it could be any day now.
Yeah, it literally can be any day. That's what's scary. I have a friend of ours that we worked with before. She was also she's pregnant. She was pregnant at the same time Caroline was. Mm-hmm. She is due after Caroline is.
Okay.
She had her baby like 3 days ago.
Oh.
So I'm sitting there like
like literally any day.
It'll come when it comes.
So my phone is like, anytime my phone buzzes, I'm like, okay, is it that?
Is it
now? Are
like,
we good?
Wow, any day. Isn't that crazy, Sam? Like I can't imagine. Me personally, I can't imagine having children.
I hope the whole crew knows that they're on call on Saturday.
Yeah, you're on. I was gonna say I didn't want to like be that person. I'm like, oh, hopefully any day but Saturday.
Right?
No. But now we have
contingencies in place. So
okay, we got your back and stuff like that, right?
Appreciate you.
But at the same time, though, like I just hope everybody knows that we're like we have to get our boys back. There's no way we can't. Preferably during the week would be awesome.
Yeah, just we have our final sonogram tomorrow, so we'll know a little bit.
You'll know. Okay, then you'll be like, okay, well, he's in this position now, right. and he could shoot out at any moment now.
Right.
Okay, so all right,
we have that tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. I'll find out what's going on.
Let me know what that looks like.
I just remembered that one scene from. Who was it? The Jim Carrey Pet Detective, where he just like pushes on this pregnant woman and the baby like just.
Bro, if it were that easy, man, like, cause the suspense is killing me. I'm like,
and you guys found out the gender already, right?
We did, so it's a boy.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Are you having a baby
With
reveal?
The longest.
No, he's not having a gender reveal, are you?
No,
we did. We did.
Oh, you did?
We had the gender reveal.
What?
I sent it to you guys.
No, you sent us just the card, not the
actual.
actual.
The card that was the invite. It was at the bottom.
Oh, that's what that. I didn't know that was an invitation. I thought you were just saying that, hey, it's a boy. I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah, it was at the bottom. But it's okay. It's all good. Yeah,
we're super. Like, you have to physically tell us, bro. You can't send us shit.
Well, it's okay, because actually, what ended up happening is we had the gender reveal at my church, but like 3 days beforehand, half my church got COVID, so the event almost got canceled. So we're like, you know what? We'll just do a small family thing because that was like at the height of like when COVID was resurging again. Oh, and actually, I think you were still you
were the culprit.
No, you were getting over it. I think you two were sick. Like it was all going on at the same time.
I had to have Robert go shoot the New Year's wedding that I had because that's when I had it. I got it, I'm pretty sure, from one of my family members around our Christmas party.
Right, because I think our gender reveal was the 5th of January, so it's right around that time that everybody was sick. That's what happened. It wasn't. It's everybody was sick.
No,
but.
Yeah, we did close the office. We closed the office for like a week or some shit like that because everybody was sick. But either way, though, you can't send us like an email because we get so many emails and so many, and we all have some degree. We have some degree of ADHD. Every single one of us has it. Mm-hmm. You know, the only one who's probably the most hyper focused, I would probably say it's Alex and Tabitha.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They are like the most hyper-focused people that we have here in the office.
We have a picture of Tabitha just like that.
Super.
It's on the website. Check it out.
Yo, it's there. It's so there.
Super hyper-focused. And if you tell me one thing, apparently, like I say shit that I've probably said or didn't say, and then it ends up like, bro, I don't even remember fucking saying that. So how can you even say that about me? You know, so
bro, I'm gonna have to start writing it down. Robert said it at this time.
I would.
When he talks, I'm like, I'm recording this right now. So go ahead, say what you're gonna say.
There's just some instances where, like, bro, I would never say that.
It does. Like,
that's not my personality. Why would I fucking say that?
It's in the moment.
I guess.
It is in the moment. It's like a spur of the moment thing. You're just like, Tabby will be talking to me, and I'll like hear her, and I'll talk to her. So like, and like actually converse with her, and then she'll be like, "What did we just talk about?" I'm like, "Why are you asking hard questions this early morning?"
Not hard question.
It's like I'm there with you, and then after that, it's in the past. It's gone. I can't find it anymore.
So you're having a boy.
Yeah.
Did you pick a name?
Cornelius.
Is this a 505 exclusive? Does everybody know?
Yeah. Some people know. The family knows.
But this is a 505 exclusive.
505 exclusive.
That was the name of
Cornelius.
Cornelius.
Middle name?
Nathaniel.
Cornelius Nathaniel.
Yeah. See,
is there a short name for?
Huh?
Babar inspired?
No. So.
Because Cornelius was the rhino on Babar, and then Nathaniel was Babar's little brother.
Oh.
For those of you that don't know.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, it's old, I don't know, homeschooler shit, I guess. It's this cartoon where it's like, it's this elephant, but this old lady is so nice to him that he learns how to speak.
Do you know what that is, Casey?
I've heard of it.
They've got a bunch of books. It's like a big kids series. The movies were fantastic.
Never heard of it.
The movies got me into
Must be a
camera
homeschool
stuff
thing.
too. I love movies.
What's it derived from, though?
No, but like, okay, so my wife and I decided, we were texting one day. I was like, all right, well, we're going to name the baby. And
You're just like, it's happening.
I was like, I'll come up with some names. You come up with some names. We'll see what'll happen. So I sent her a bunch of names. And the one thing I was like, okay, we should name the baby Calvin. And she was just like,
Calvin? That's a good name. I like
Calvin is a great name.
I like
she
Calvin.
was just like, Calvin sounds like he gets in trouble at school, so we're not going to name the baby Calvin.
What?
I was like, all right, well, give me some names. And so she gave me some names. I was like,
here, let's bring that close to you.
Sorry.
No, it's
and
okay.
then so I was like, what about Cornelius? And she's like, Cornelius was on my list. The baby's name's Cornelius. That's what's going to be. I was like,
were you just saying that as like, well, what about Cornelius then?
Well, I was looking at the C name. You know, there are not a lot of C names. They're mostly Spanish, and I don't mind.
What about Cooper?
Spanish.
Cooper, I've known some white boys named Cooper.
Cooper is a nice name. See, C names also, aside from my name being Casey and it being a C name, like I've been scarred with C names because I have one friend. His name is ridiculously long, and I swore that I would name my child after him.
No, I have a name.
Bring it on, man. I got one for you.
Hang on, go ahead. You go first because I'm trying to remember. That's how long it is.
Probably got one that's like 6
My
names
friend from high school, he was in high school, middle school, elementary school. His name was Carlos. And he was like, I was like, hey, Carlos. He's like, don't even call me that, man. That's not even my name. I was like, what is your name, man? Because everybody calls you Carlos. He's like, my name is Carlitos Alfredo Santana Martinez Alduga Jr. And I was like, sir. It's what? Carlitos Alfredo Santana Martinez Alduga Jr. I was like, why?
Oh, okay. I remembered it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's a long name. Sure.
It is a
But the most ridiculous. Well, not ridiculous, because I don't want to trash on him. Like,
No, go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
this guy.
'Cause I got
used to
other
be-
names.
This guy
Believe
used to
me.
be friends with, and his name is Theophilus.
Almost got me there, sir. You almost got me. Theophilus.
It's almost
Theophilus.
as cool as my cousin Throckmorton.
What? Throck, like Brock, but with a TH.
Like Brock, but Throck like a thong.
Throck.
Yo, I've heard. Listen, my wife and I, we used to work in residential care, so we work with a lot of different children, and a lot of different parents from a lot of different ethnic groups, and they just would name their children everything.
Yeah.
My wife had a client that she was processing food stamps for, doing social work, and she was going through the names, and she was just like, okay, does your child 7 live in your house? And she was like, 7? Who's 7? His name is Savon. Savon? It's spelled 7. Don't you try to put an accent on it. That's the number.
I've heard of parents naming their kids numbers, but I never thought it was a real thing.
Dude,
I thought it was just a Seinfeld skit.
Sevon.
Savon.
A-U? Or is spelled 7?
Yeah, 7. Spell 7. But
This
you
is
know,
my eldest child, 11.
and her name was even better than that because we knew who her father was simply by her name. Her name was Greg Nisha.
Greg Nisha.
We don't even have to look at the birth certificate. We already know your daddy name is Greg.
Savon. I think that's clever.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I can't imagine. Okay, I don't want to say that because that sounds super insensitive.
No, go and say it.
No, I can't imagine having. I think Crystal and I are on the same page, and we just can't imagine having kids. We're too selfish. We're too selfish.
That's the whole purpose of kids.
I want
it's
no.
for the baby
It's not
fur
selfish.
children.
That's selfish for the kid,
baby.
not for me. I'm selfish. I want to be able to drop $1,000 on a watch, not $1,000 on preschool.
Facts.
Facts.
Crystal wants to spend $4,000 on vacation, not $4,000 on college tuition.
Yeah.
So like
yeah.
we're one of those
But
couples
those
that
deductions, though.
yeah, my brother got like $5,000 back in taxes from
Deductions that good?
Dude,
Yeah, but true.
People
How
are
m-
getting like 8,000-9,000 depending on their financial situation.
true, but how much do you have to spend to get that though? You know, so but
Some people don't
but
spend
hey,
a whole lot.
Ain't it like $37,000 to give birth?
it's expensive, right?
I
do
am
a
so
home
grateful to the state of Illinois for sponsoring the birth of my baby.
No, Illinois is really Illinois is very good about like childcare and childbirth caring for like, you know, I don't want to say
40,000.
Yeah.
It's 40,000. They handed us the bill at the 40,000.
Did you ask for an itemized receipt?
Dude, like I think they charge you for birthing. For
Yeah.
like the
To hold it.
to
Yeah.
hold the,
you're
they
doing all
charge
that
you.
work.
It's like $2,000 for birthing.
Yeah.
Skin to skin.
Yeah.
Contact. They
Jeez.
charge you for that, which
You guys
is
just go to Walmart,
ridiculous.
buy a kiddie pool, have that home birth.
Like,
Or in Canada.
dude,
Yeah, go to-
doulas are expensive too. They're not as expensive as like that, but doulas are like $5,000.
Wow.
Yeah, doulas are very expensive.
What's a what?
A doula to help you have they're like natural birthing.
Oh,
Yeah, they-
what do the white people call them? Midwives.
Midwives, yeah.
Yeah, white people call them midwives.
Yeah. So there's some delineation between the two. I think doulas actually have like they have to be certified.
Well, so do
particular-
midwives, right?
Right.
I hope they're
I
certified.
think they're two different.
I know, like I popped out a baby.
There's like
Yeah,
some
well,
kind
tell
of
us about
delineation.
midwives.
I don't know, but
No,
they
it's
do
just-
the same thing.
No, it's just you know, you're the. Alex is too young, so I mean, you're like.
I think midwives require a doctor in the room.
Oh.
And doulas like they can do it without a
Really?
doctor.
I don't know.
If it's a certain kind of birth, so if it doesn't like.
I'm out of my
If
depth
you-
in this conversation.
Yeah,
I don't know
I don't
anything
know.
about fucking
It's-
kids. All I know is that I don't, you know, I'm happy for you. I'm happy for everybody on the team who's about to give birth or gave birth or blah blah blah.
It's a very fertile company right now. Watch out, Sam.
No, no.
Gosh, I hope not.
Because when Joanna just had a baby, who else?
Correct.
Quentin had a baby,
and then you.
About to have a baby.
Is there anyone else?
It's a very fertile time.
Aiden, are you good, bro?
It's 505 babies.
No. Like I'm thinking about getting another dog.
Then he'll have
Look at
5
us.
dogs.
We're growing every day.
Yeah.
505, we're doing it.
So I think that I'm just too selfish, Casey. I'm too selfish, and I want to, I don't have the natural desire to be a father.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people have that.
Yeah.
You probably have that.
Out the womb, man. I was ready.
Do you have that on occasion?
I could be a good father because I took care of my
No,
siblings
not do you
a lot.
have to be a good. Not will you be a
If
good
it
father? Do you have
happened-
the desire to be a father?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't. At least not at this point. Maybe in like 4 or 5 years, I'll be like, man, I really want to raise a pretty cool guy, and I'm pretty cool, and Tabby's pretty cool. I think we can make a good mix there. Let's do it. But for right now, nah.
And we kind of talked about this a little. Well, oh my gosh, you should have been for the conversation that we just had. And technically speaking, Casey, you don't count.
Okay.
Okay?
Towards what?
The van situation.
Oh,
Van. What about the man?
On the previous episode,
That's right.
we were discussing how we got the 505 van, right?
Yes, Tabby's episode.
And then literally somehow the conversation got into the where these brides, and nothing wrong with it, they can do whatever they want. Who cares, right? Who am I? I'm just we're just videoing and photoing the wedding.
Oh no, yeah, it was because you said like all the time these brides. I'm pregnant. I'm 2 months in.
Like
I need a van.
8 months after their wedding, or a year
They
after,
didn't get their video yet.
or they didn't even get their video yet, and they're already about to pop out their kid.
Wow.
Which is fine, good for you guys. I'm happy, but I just can't. I don't comprehend that. I don't get that. And you're also you have a doctorate in what again?
So I have a doctorate in pastoral counseling.
Okay.
Nice.
So that means you probably have these conversations with couples before they get married on like, hey, are you going to have kids? If you have kids, you're going to do this. You have to do this, that, and the other, right?
Yep.
So I can't. If I had a previous marriage and she wanted a kid. I was like, bro, I don't have any desire to have a kid. Like, I don't want a kid.
Right.
And granted, I probably could have saved myself a lot of money and a lot of trouble having that conversation with you beforehand.
Right.
But it's one of those things that I just cannot see myself in that position of being a father and then having to go buy a fucking minivan and all that kind of shit, Because
I love the minivan.
no.
It's
But
really, really
the thing
dope.
is that
I love it.
what you did before required you to have a minivan.
Right.
You said you had 2 or 3,
Six.
6 foster kids, right?
Wow.
6.
Foster kids. So
At once?
Yep. 22-day-old, a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 10-year-old.
At that point, because this man is did amazing work. Yes, he needed a minivan. Everybody,
Definitely deserves.
he
a
had
whole
6
van.
children at one point in time. Yes, you need a minivan.
That weren't mine.
When you
For
have
me.
Not too many other men can say that.
Right.
because when we were having the discussion, it was like, yo, I was also in the car business
Right.
too, right? So we would always, Crystal and I both were, we would always get these new married couples that have one baby, just one. And they were like, we have to have the biggest SUV possible. And I'm like, why? Why do you need the biggest minivan, SUV, et cetera, possible? You have one child. But what about their friends? It was like, by the time your kid is old enough to comprehend friendships, you're going to be trading this thing back in because you already put a gajillion miles on it and it's a piece of shit now. But it's different though because for you in UK, because you were actually doing work and being with kids and being doing that type of work that would require you to, yes, at one point in time, 6 kids, that's a lot, bro. I don't even know how you must have the patience of a saint because when my dog shits on the floor, I lose it.
Dude, I was changing 3 diapers like every 2 hours.
Wow.
3 sets of diapers because the 22-day-old, the 1-year-old, and the 2-year-old were all still in diapers. I was going through a lot of wipes. We went through like 6 boxes of wipes at least a month.
I think that's a low number, Casey.
No, when I say boxes, I mean like them Costco ones.
Oh, like case?
Yeah, like cases. like, dude, like they were like, and then to clean up, not just the
Were you feeding them Taco Bell?
dude. I don't know what they were eating. Like the milk, like, yo, have you seen what milk looks like on the other side? Jesus Christ.
Milk is horrifying.
Oh my God.
So I have no desire to have children, and whenever we saw these couples come in, it was like, bro, I couldn't comprehend it, Casey. I
Right.
couldn't understand. I couldn't physically fathom why anyone would want to buy a minivan, be or have a child, and I get it. You have
some
these
people are just about that life.
You have these maternal instincts and stuff like that people sometimes get, but it's just weird how it kind of skips it,
I had 2 sets of friends that turned 18, got married, and then had a kid by 19.
Ooh.
All within the span of me and Tabby dating and then getting married.
I
Listen,
was not prepared
that's
for a
another
child at 19.
that's another exactly. That's the other thing is that I kind of put it lightly the other day, but a 19-year-old, you just fucking graduated high school, bro.
You haven't had skin long enough.
Like and granted, there are some people that are like super awesome and were able to pull themselves out of it and shit like that.
Yeah.
There are those success stories, but the odds are super duper stacked against you. You just got out of high school. You're probably not going to college. Your boy, more than likely, and I'm not trying to say this as a stereotype. I'm just, this is what I've seen.
Right.
What I've encountered. When you're 19, it's a baby daddy. It's not a father.
Of course.
He's not even in the picture at that point.
Or they'll be together for a period of time. They realize how life sucks, and then they.
What I would
break
like
up.
to do actually is I would like to have a guest or someone who knows social work. You know what I'm saying? So they can really kind of dive in, because I actually did some pro bono work for like a social services company as well too. I think it's on our YouTube channel as well too. But it had to deal with all mental health. Northwest Indiana Mental Health Institute. I think that's what it was. They're based out of Hammond, Indiana, but they have branches like all over, right? So, but it's more of like these welfare checks and talking to the moms and make sure they have what they need and doing that outreach,
Yeah.
Which I was very flattered that they even asked me to do it, but I did and I did it, so I was super like, yes, I'll do it, because that's such an important thing. I would love to have someone on that gives us a little bit more insight on stuff like that, because we keep, we can talk about it, we can have fun and all that kind of shit, but at the end of the day, this is someone's life too. And it's possibly a bride that we might even, not calling out names. I'm not saying names, but we literally had a bride that was in Michigan, booked us last minute. Dad walked out. Baby daddy walked out.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah.
the baby is just a few months old.
Few months old.
Yeah.
And she couldn't afford, and like I'm running a business too.
Right.
I can't, as much as all this personal stuff could affect us and made my heartstrings, tear as well too. I almost, and it's not that I was betting against them or anything. I just like, Crystal, I have a bad feeling about this couple.
Yeah.
Like they weren't living together or anything like that. None of the traditional.
States.
They were different states
Lived
as
in
well too.
Michigan.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And
She was here.
she lived in Indiana, correct? That's what it was.
Oh.
And he literally showed up one day and he was like, and then he left.
For a week, he's like, I can't do this. I don't want to do it.
Yeah. That's tough. Especially, we excuse me, there is a lot of emotions and things that we as service workers, so to speak,
Sure.
in the industry that we work in with weddings and stuff, there's a lot of that. We get messages all the time. Crystal can attest to how many times she talks to a family, and this one, we had a wedding like that. The father of the groom could not be anywhere near the father of the groom, the mother of the groom.
Yeah.
And even in the photos, I had to have him on one side and had her on the other. If you look at the photos, that's how I had it. Like, I put her over there. Like,
And
I
they
didn't
make
want
it
to work.
so obvious too, bro. Like,
No, it was bad.
I don't understand.
Don't even be there at that point.
Well, no, you have to be there because you're the mom and the dad. You just
Just be silly.
Yeah.
But just be like, yo, this day isn't about us. You know,
Is that
I would.
what happened with that one where like the huge fight broke out? Was that like some?
No, that was different. That was just.
Two mothers.
That was just two moms being drunk.
Oh.
So at the time, one of my old videographers, Christian, he was. We went to this wedding in Arlington Heights, and it's a nicer neighborhood, banquet hall, standard shit, right? And literally, the two moms have been drinking all day, mimosas back to back to back to back to back to back. You were there.
Oh, yeah.
But you left early, though, because you were a second shooter.
I left like literally 10 minutes before.
10 minutes
all
beforehand.
hell broke loose.
And I was so excited, bro, because this chicken that they had it looked so freaking good, bro. It was so crispy. It looked so juicy. It looked so, even the greens and the mashed potatoes and mac and cheese. Bro, I was so excited and I was so ready to eat this fucking stuff, bro. Like, my mouth is watering right now just even thinking about it.
Wow.
But all we hear is like, and I'm like, oh shit, what happened? And then I see,
Oh no.
the moms.
That's the worst.
The moms. And the next thing you know, everybody, you don't do that to my mom and this, that, the other, blah, blah, blah. And then pile up. Cops had to be called. It's over, bro. It's over. It's done. I just told him, like, pack up your shit. We're leaving. Because I'm not staying for this. Even if it does calm down later on, it's literally, how many cops, Crystal? We're like 20 cops there.
20?
20, 10.
Yeah, because it was
That sounds
group
like
of,
a brawl.
what,
It
30
was.
people fighting.
It was a big wedding,
Yeah.
and you know, it was just it was huge, it was massive, and just like it could have gotten out of control. Like people were already smoking, people were already sipping, people were already like, you know, I don't know. It's just it was very, very intense, and I was like, yeah, they don't pay us enough to stick around for this. Let's go.
Yeah.
Whatever we got, that's what we got.
It's better to be safe, you know, and I think a lot of people just don't take a lot of those things into account. When you're planning a wedding, you have to be careful about
who you're serving.
Those family dynamics that you have
Oh, yeah.
brewing. There's parts of my family. There's a set of them that cannot be put with the other. It's crazy. It's insane.
Full circle, though, I think there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of things that go into a wedding. Mm-hmm. And then
It's a very complex event.
Exactly. It's a very complex event. But there's a lot of stuff that we just cannot control.
Yeah.
You know? Either way, though, there's just so many topics that we can just keep going and going and going and going for,
Yeah.
you know? And the whole point of this, and I've said that pretty much on every podcast that, you know, we've had someone on here. The whole point of these is to just kind of dive deep into what makes a wedding or what makes a photo session or what makes a video set or whatever, you know, because when you look up tutorials on YouTube or when you look up how do I grow a photography business on YouTube and shit like that,
It's all very generic.
Quite.
Yeah.
it's very
Because nobody wants to give up their trade secrets.
Yeah.
Nobody's giving up or even
Join my
tips.
free online session. It starts in 1 hour. You can save
Bro,
$30
I
right now
literally-
if you subscribe.
I cringe every time.
As you should.
I cringe every time someone starts plugging when they get 30,000 subscribers or 50,000 subscribers. Buy my LUT pack. Buy my this. Buy my this. Buy my that. I was like,
It's all trash people. It's all.
No, I get it that you want to make some income, but I don't think you can. I mean,
I'll pay $10
Just be
for like 50
honest.
pre-made
Just be
LUTs.
honest. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Be honest about what you're offering, because they make it, and that's just it's very
Oh, yeah,
general.
they hype it up. They hype it
Yeah.
up so hard.
Come and you're going to earn $10,000 by watching. No,
Yeah.
you're
You
not.
so cinematic.
I grew my clients. I'm charging more for weddings
Instant
now than
brand deals guaranteed.
Let's be real, and you know we can actually iron that down with. Listen, these people have professional gear. If you don't have the money, you're probably not going to be making that kind of income.
Oh yeah.
sure.
If you don't have the time to invest in yourself, as you mentioned at the beginning of this broadcast,
It's so much to invest and then reinvest.
in yourself. And it's not even just learning the equipment, because that's big.
Yeah.
It's not just learning customer service, because that's big. But it's
yeah.
really knowing yourself and what you want to do. Because if you hop into this photography thing and throw down a couple $1,000s and you go to a wedding and you just have a horrible time, now you're stuck.
There's not another game tomorrow that you can just be at, you're on the
stuck.
line.
You're in it.
Yeah.
You're in it. There's a lot that people have to understand, and it's more than the gear. It's more than YouTube University or even paying money for class. Like, this is something you have to really want to know.
But other than that, Casey, I'm happy that you're on the team. I love it that you're on the team. I think everybody here feels the same way. I think Tabitha the most out of everybody.
I love Tabitha too. That's my girl, man.
I remember one time she claims that this didn't happen. But remember when I took you guys for Mexican food and we had margaritas? Like, Tabitha, you kind of got a little close to Casey right there. and you touched his hair. She claims she doesn't remember that. And I was like, Tabitha, you can't just do that.
Oh, that is hysterical.
Do you recall this?
I think I do.
How did she lead into it? She's just like, oh.
She leaned up against him and she was just like, I love it. No, she.
Oh, yeah, because I was like, I love Tabby. She's like, I love you too. Yay!
So I just, we all.
Cool. I love Sam too.
No.
I love you too.
It's a lot of love in this room, people.
That's good.
I love you, Alex and Robert, all
thank
of you.
Yes. I think we have a lot of big things coming up. We have a lot of things in the works and in the future.
Yeah,
And
there's plenty left to happen.
there's plenty left to happen, just like Sam said. I think as long as we all are moving towards the same goal, I don't think there's anything that's going to stop us, really. And I think even that shows in the growth that we're having right now. We have 150 clients this year, guys.
Already.
And booking season's not even over.
Really quick, just before we wrap up, the booking season is ridiculous. Right now, we are getting the last minute girls that are just now booking.
Yeah.
That, hey, do you have September 2022 available? No. Do you have June 2022 available? No. October? No.
Definitely not.
People, were calling me asking for advice for their friends and stuff like that. And I was like, look, if you all are getting married, book now. Don't wait. Yeah. Book now.
Everybody's just got this wedding fever because we've been gone for a year and a half.
It stopped all of that. Some people got right back into it, rescheduled right away, and then others just waited a bit longer.
Yeah.
So we're in that kind of weird position right now to where unfortunately, we have to turn it. We're in this position again where we're saying no to people because we just don't have enough people that A, we trust, or B, that we want to bring on. So
I mean, if they would go for a Wednesday, we could do that.
Wednesday, Thursdays? Thursdays are nice.
Thursdays are good. Sundays are underrated.
Sundays are highly underrated.
I had my wedding on a Sunday.
Weddings are great on Sunday. People, weddings on Wednesday, on Sundays, Wednesdays,
I like Sundays.
Mondays.
You're already off Saturday. You're off on
Sundays.
you're off on Saturday, and so you're not doing shit anyway. So you can pregame Saturday and then get fucked up on Sunday, and then go back to work on Monday.
And people don't realize venues are cheaper on Sunday.
They are. They're
just cheaper.
True. I don't know why. I figured that day. I guess I get it. But either way, when you set a date for a wedding, I just assume that I'm just not going to go to work next day. That's just me. If I had to go somewhere on Sunday, I'm probably just gonna call off on Monday. So
3-day weekends.
3-day weekends.
People don't get married on Labor Day. I don't know why. It's like that's a great day to get married on.
4th of July is another weird one as well too. Ooh. We don't get too many of those. I think we have maybe one this year, but
we have more New Year's Eve
what's
weddings.
Up?
Yeah. This camera is about to die.
All right. On that note, we are going. We're going to wrap it up. Thank you, Casey, for being here. Thank you, Sam, for being an incredible co-host. Thank you, Alex, for producing as well, too. And thank you to everybody who is following, liking, subscribing, watching, listening, etc., etc., etc.
Don't forget to hit that bell notification for new videos and uploads.
And we will see you on the next one. Peace.
Ready.